I'm Alan, and I'm going to make a quick video about how to use the vara, or the staff as it's known. So I make two types of staffs or varas. Let me refer to them as vara from now on. I make the limpia, or the cleansing vara, and that has a tip that is solid, and these are generally made to go into the earth. But because the tips are actually quite fragile, I put them in sand, have a little glass of sand so it doesn't actually hurt. If you want to put it in the earth, I recommend you dig a hole beforehand. And as you notice, the ball on the top, the sphere, tends to be darker, like something like obsidian. And then in the centre, this is not one that I made. This is actually my major arte. This was given to me by Don Oscar Mira Quesada, and it is actually a transmission staff, and it has like a metal remolino made of iron that can be placed in the earth quite well. This was actually my major sort of arte. It was given to him by Don Celso Rojas Palomino, so it holds a lot of lineage, a lot of energy from Don Celso's family line. It was passed down to him apparently through his maternal grandparents and back hundreds of years. So that's my prized possession, and it really got me into the idea of making staffs, varas. And this is one that is a transmission staff, and it tends to have a lighter coloured ball, which holds a high vibration and is for sending energy, vibration. And this has a different tip. This has a quartz tip, and this is for giving transmissions. So it's up to you whether you use either of them for transmissions or limpias, spiritual cleansings, but you tend not to mix them. You tend to use, if you use one for transmissions, you tend to use it for transmissions. They tend not to be just used for one or the other. So my central staff there is just used for transmissions and nothing else. So staffs are used in many traditions. A lot of Wiccan staffs, and shamanic staffs from different traditions. The Buriats use staffs. It's not so commonly used in the jungles of Peru, but certainly in the northern coastal traditions of Peru, where the Masada takes place. So they tend to be located in the north of the mesa, with the limpia staffs on the left, and the transmission staff tends to be either in the center or to the right. So the photographs I just posted are of a mesa from the northern coastal area, from around the Salas region. It's Leoncio Carrillo, and these were given to me by Douglas Sharon, who's an expert in northern coastal practices. He was down there since the 1960s, and he's really sort of like the world authority on Peruvian mesas. I know that Connie Glass Coffin is also way up there, but they're very good friends, and they've also done a lot of work together. But anyway, this is something that Douglas Sharon gave me as a way to explain, things about how the varas are used. So the staffs do represent sort of like the world tree. They actually are connecting the heavens to the earth, and so as they're put in vertical position, they're bringing their energy from the heavens down to the earth, or actually they're representative of the three worlds, and they're very good conductors. The ones that I made are made of wood, and wood is actually a good conductor, partly because it does have water in it, and so it's bringing the energy from the sky to the earth, and the earth to the sky, form to the formless, and spirit to matter. And so as you're holding the staff, you can use it in a way that's actually bringing a representative of the three worlds. So it does have a myriad of uses, but it's actually a very good meditation tool. You can hold it in your right hand and use it as a way to channel energy. It's like bringing energy down from the celestial realms, and it can actually speak to you. So one of the first things I recommend you do when you receive your vara, or you purchase one somewhere else, is actually to name it, or to ask its name. Typically, a staff does have a name, a special name to it. And my one in the centre that Don Oscar gave me is actually is named El Alcalde. That's the name that was given to me, and that means mayor. So it's like the mayor that oversees my whole mesa. And as you see, it's the head of my mesa, and it's right up there, right above Viracocha, and it's bringing down that celestial energy that I will then use to offer as a transmission to whoever is lucky enough to receive it. You can use the limpia vara either to do limpias on your client or somebody who comes looking for energy cleansing, or you can do it on yourself. And the way that you do it is you go counterclockwise around the body. So first of all, what you tend to do is put it on your centre of your left palm, the chakra point of your left palm, holding the top with your right palm. And what you're going to do is you're going to neutralise it like that. Neutralise it. Forward movement like that to help to neutralise it. And now it's ready to cleanse. You can do it either way, that way or this way. And so basically you're going to start from the crown and you're going to bring it down slowly. So either you're doing this to your client or they're doing it to themselves. And you can sort of move it around if you feel something needs to be broken up, moving it down. Just the same as you might use a despacho to cleanse. And then you're bringing it down, you can't see this, down to the legs, in between the legs, down. And then you're going to tap. You reach the bottom, just tap. Okay, counterclockwise around the person. You release energy counterclockwise, you bring positive energy in. Like if you do a florecimiento, you go clockwise. Or so when you're smudging somebody, you go counterclockwise. And if you're bringing in a higher vibration, like using chimes or something like that, you would go clockwise. So basically, counterclockwise, same thing. I'm going to be bringing the energy down, all the way down, like that. And then again, tapping, bringing it down. It gets a bit complex, you just do like that, and down all the way to the floor, and tapping. And then the right hand side, same thing, all the way down to the floor, tapping. And that's pretty much what you do. You can, as I say, you can spend a bit of time rubbing it around, and then you neutralise it again. And often if you're in a circle, you would pass it on to the next person, or if you're doing it limpia yourself and several people, you would neutralise it. Or if you're handing it to somebody, handing it in the traditional way with the right hand, then receiving it with the left. You can also use this as a talking stick. And I use it a lot to help people to step into their power, to hold it, to feel the power. They are powerful. For example, Don Oscar, the very first vara I made for Don Oscar, Mira Quesada, and he uses it all the time. And it doesn't look dissimilar to this one. It has a quartz on the top, and this is a new feature that I had custom made in Peru. He doesn't have one like that. But he calls his la vara de la creación. So that means the staff of creation. So he uses it in a way that actually brings that creative force down from the sky, and then he'll use it as a transmission piece, and actually to bring energy down to the earth to then send it to his central banco. So he uses his a lot, and whenever I've been on retreat with him, he always brings that, and his wife Cindy brings her one, which I also made for her. And so they actually pair them off. They have them in opposite corners of the mesa, and so they're actually bringing the energy as a conduit into the mesa. La vara de la creación. Not bad, huh? This is the transmission staff. Again, it's got quartz, so if you buy from me, if you want a transmission staff, you tend to get the one with the quartz end. And this is, orange calcite. It's very high vibration. The thing with this type of staff is that you're sort of really channeling. It's a bit like Reiki. Anybody that's done Reiki classes with me know that you need to sort of open your crown chakra to allow that energy to channel through you. So what I'm doing here is I'm standing with my feet firmly planted on the earth. If I'm doing a ceremonial weekend, what I'll do is I tend to do the transmission at the end of the weekend, because the staff or the vara has been absorbing a lot of energy from the retreat the whole weekend, and it holds a story, it holds a cuenta that I'm then going to transmit into the person that will hold the cuenta, hold the story of the whole weekend, hold the memories of everybody that was in the retreat, hold the vibration of Mount Shasta where I live, and the starlight energy in that. So as I blow that transmission through the staff as the conduit or the catalyst for that energy, it's really focusing that energy. So basically the point of the staff is the most important part. It's like the magician's wand. It's the tip of the wand that is the most important part. And what that's doing is it's focusing the energy. It's a bit like a funnel that, it sort of brings the energy, absorbs the energy from the mesa, the weekend, the retreat, whatever it is you want to transmit, and it's sending it down in this little shaft of energy right to the very point. So that's what I'm doing. I'm sort of like, as I do the transmission, I'm preparing myself for that transmission. I'm calling in that energy and allowing it to transmit. And it's also the staff also holds its own cuenta. It's holding the story. So I'm going to blow everything in. And the first place I blow is actually into the third eye. I do 3 points. The third eye. So what I'm doing is this. I'm just blowing, as in I'm tipping into the third eye right there. And you can actually bring, there's different ways of doing it, but you're actually seeing that as you breathe in into your heart center, and then blowing out like a Fukui out, a breath of love and light and power. I do it into the third eye. I then do it into the heart center. I then do it into the Koshko or the navel, which most of us know is the rainbow bridge to the realms within all of our being, and it connects us to all the spiritual forces within us and without us. And so finishing off with that. And you actually don't need to do a cleansing or neutralizing between, if you're doing it on several people. You don't need to do that because it's nothing to be neutralized. It's all positive, powerful, high vibrancy medicine.